What is up, ladies and gentlemen? The market, the cryptocurrency market, and Bitcoin is in a super interesting, super precarious, extremely important place right now. I believe that Bitcoin is at a crossroads, is potentially at an inflection point, and we're gonna run through some extremely important technical analysis in this video, things that you guys absolutely need to understand. I'm starting to hear a lot of people panic, say the sky is falling. Is this the end of the bull run? Are we entering a bear market? Has Bitcoin topped off? And so in this video, we're going to address a few of those points. And look, my just to start off, my personal gut feeling tells me this is not the end of the bull run. It tells me this is just the beginning. For Bitcoin to top off now doesn't make sense in my opinion. That would mean that the cycles are invalid because every cycle the top altcoins reach their all-time high prices and vastly surpass it. For Bitcoin to just do a 2x and for Ethereum to like barely touch its all-time highs and then enter a bear cycle, it would mean the cycles are completely invalid and that everything's wrong and nothing makes sense. Now, could this potentially be the top of the market? Potentially. I mean, it's technically a theoretical possibility. So let's mention a few very important things. Congratulations to the crypto YouTubers who have now woken up and realized that Bitcoin is in a descending triangle, which is extremely important because this is a very macro descending triangle. Whatever way we break out of this thing, we're likely to trend in that direction for quite some time. Not only that, the daily 50 EMA is an extremely important simple moving average that we are testing right now. And I'll show you why this is so important. If we zoom back out to 2017 and the last Bitcoin bull run, we can see here that we fell down to test the 50 EMA and then shot back up. So the question is, are we at the point in the cycle where we're falling back down to retest the 50 EMA and then we shoot up? Or are we at the point in the cycle where we're testing the 50 EMA and then at some point we start to break down, enter a bear cycle, years of consolidation? That is an open question, and that is the question we are dealt with right now, ladies and gentlemen. Are we simply falling down to retest the 50 EMA and going up for that another leg up, or are we falling below it? I think if we start to close daily candles below the 50 EMA on the sorry, I keep saying EMA. My apologies, folks. I'm so used to talking about EMAs. This is the simple moving average, just the regular moving average. I typically use exponential moving averages, EMAs, because they're more price reactive, and I find them to be more helpful personally. But in this case, I think the most important thing we need to understand for Bitcoin is the 50 moving average. So, Bitcoin is in a descending triangle. Okay? We are testing the 50 daily moving average right now. If we start to fall below this and close below the 50 EMA on the daily, that is very bad news, bears. That is very no bueno. I've drawn here two boxes of support that Bitcoin could at the very least find temporary support. Also, I think another possibility is that we flash crash down and then pump afterwards. We could also also spend some time in the low 20,000s and then also pump. Guys, this market loves to shake people out. Whales love to shake out weak hands and liquidate people. If they know, for example, if whales know that people are placing their stop loss like right at the 50 moving average on the daily, they'll try and dump it just below it and then pump the price right afterwards because they want to get that liquidation. So something like that is definitely possible as well. We're near an apex in this descending triangle. I think Bitcoin has max 2 weeks of sideways movement within this thing before we break out and decide what Bitcoin's going to do. So Bitcoin, in my opinion, has 2 weeks to decide whether it's bullish or bearish for the mid to long term here. So these two boxes are going to be critical support for Bitcoin as well. 27,600 to 26,300. Well, it is critical support. Sideways price action here. Volume building up in those regions as well. I think even more critically than that, 24,500 to 22,200. Very, very critical support. I think this is like the last area of possible support. If Bitcoin were to fall below this area theoretically, I think at that point, entertaining conversations of this the bull cycle with Bitcoin being over makes more sense if we were to fall down below 22,000. In my opinion, that's unlikely. I bring these things up because there's the theoretical possibilities, and I feel like it's my duty to let you know of possibilities. But while these things are possibilities, what do I think? What is my gut feeling? Guys, my gut feeling is based off everything I know, based off my understanding of the fundamental dynamics with the global economic system in Bitcoin and in crypto and the supply to demand dynamics. In my opinion, it wouldn't make sense for this to be the top of the bull market. It wouldn't make sense for this to be the where Bitcoin topped off. Could Bitcoin enter weeks and maybe a few months of consolidation and kind of sideways price action? I think so. And in fact, I think that would be healthy. I think that would be a good thing. Another thing, guys, based off some charts, we are so early in this cycle. We've been rising so parabolically. Bitcoin having a cool off period is healthy. We can't go straight up forever. We want periods of consolidation so people can accumulate. It makes an uptrend more sustainable over the long term. You don't want something that just goes up straight up forever. So guys, just to wrap up my thoughts with Bitcoin here, we're in this macro descending triangle. We're near an apex, likely to have a big move within the next 2 days. The 50 moving average on the daily is an extremely important moving average to keep your eyes out for. If we start to close daily candles below, not just wick below, but close daily candles below the 50 moving average on the daily, that is extremely bad news bears. But I feel we also need to be aware of the possibility of wicking down and flash crashes in whales trying to dump the price and then it being bought up quickly. And I think these two boxes are the areas of support that I think Bitcoin is likely to have. So yeah, that's another thing we need to keep our eye out for as well. Another extremely important thing that I think is influencing the price of Bitcoin right now is the dollar index, the DXY. The DXY is currently experiencing a bit of a rally. So for those who don't know, whenever the dollar rises, other currencies such as crypto and Bitcoin typically suffer. Whenever it falls, other currencies such as crypto and Bitcoin typically benefit. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the dollar reacts over the next few days and weeks here. I believe if the dollar starts to get rejected off these EMAs and go for that leg down, I think that will be a factor that helps out crypto and Bitcoin. If the dollar continues to rally, I think that will be a factor that negatively impacts Bitcoin and crypto. So keeping an eye on the dollar is extremely important to understand what it's doing. As well, guys, we can't not mention Ethereum. Ethereum looks very interesting in my opinion. And see, guys, like for us, for the bull market to top off right now. So let's say Bitcoin did this was the top, and we're entering a bear cycle. And like I'm bringing this up because so many people are fudsters and they're losing it. And the sky's falling. So I just want to address some of these arguments. It would just make no sense for Ethereum to just barely touch its all-time highs and then enter a bear cycle. It would completely negate every single bull cycle in cryptocurrency history. It just doesn't make sense. Is it a theoretical possibility that this could be the top of the market? I mean, sure, but it just wouldn't make sense. It would completely contradict everything that's ever happened in the past. Every single bull run, the top altcoins reach their all-time highs and vastly surpass it. Now, another argument, the altcoins typically top off a month after Bitcoin tops off. So let's say, Bitcoin did top off. Could Ethereum and the altcoins still have roughly a month of upwards price action? Sure. And look, another thing we need to note here, guys, is the monthly close on Bitcoin. Another thing, guys, look at this very long wick to the upside on the monthly. This is a large time frame, guys. The way I think it's helpful to think of wicks is the longer the wick, the more price doesn't like going that direction. Let's take a look back at 2017 here. Look at the last time we had a very long wick to the upside. That was the beginning of the bear market. And see over here, back in, when was this? This was March. Very long wick to the downside, and that's when we entered the bull market. So wicks are very important to keep an eye out for. And now, look, just because something happened in the past doesn't guarantee that the future is going to be exactly like that. But the past is at least helpful to understand what could theoretically be possible in the future. So we have 4 days to see how this monthly candle closes. If this monthly candle closes with such a long wick to the upside like this, I'm not gonna lie, folks, that is bad. That is bad news bears. That is no bueno. I think best case scenario, a Bitcoin enters like a consolidation sideways movement phase for at the very least a few weeks, maybe even longer. We'll see. These are at least some of the things that we need to keep our eye out for. Ultimately, guys, while there are some bearish signs and bearish possibilities, we really just need to see what way we break out. Guys, we're in an apex. We can contemplate and theorize and argue all day of what could happen in likelihoods, but ultimately, until we break either above or below this descending triangle and close, not just wick below, until we see these larger time frames either close above or below this descending triangle, we won't understand direction clearly until that happens. So these are some of the things we need to keep our eye out for as well. The Ethereum Bitcoin. So this is a very important chart to try and understand what Ethereum could be doing. So Ethereum, the Ethereum Bitcoin pair is in a very interesting place because it's right up against significant resistance. If Ethereum can get above kind of like the 4% region, like 4.2%, I think it really start to shoot up and gain a lot of ground against Bitcoin, which if we start to break above these key resistance levels, I think that could be a factor that helps Ethereum pump as well. Bitcoin dominance is in a very interesting place right now because it's kind of consolidating sideways. And so Bitcoin dominance has been doing this thing where it'll fall, consolidate sideways, fall, consolidate sideways. And so are we due for another leg down? Perhaps. Whenever Bitcoin, and that's important to understand because whenever Bitcoin dominance falls, altcoins typically benefit. Whenever it rises, altcoins typically suffer because Bitcoin dominance is the total value of Bitcoin in comparison to the total value of all cryptocurrencies. So right now we can see that Bitcoin is worth 63.7475% of the entire cryptocurrency market. So if that falls, that could be a factor that helps out the altcoins. So guys, there's a lot of FUD in the market right now, a lot of concern. So I wanted to make this video kind of address some of those points. Just to summarize a bit here with like kind of my final thoughts. Do I think this is the top of the bull market with Bitcoin and Ethereum? I don't think so. I still believe that this bull run is likely to end around the end of 2021. Could I be wrong? Sure. That's a possibility, I guess. But everything that I see points in the direction of this not being the top. The global reserve currency, the US dollar, is being greatly devalued. It's being devalued at a rate of 8, 10, 15% a year. You cannot make returns in the legacy markets and equities at a greater rate than the rate that the US dollar is being devalued. So what I mean is, if let's say you'd be lucky to make 8, 10% a year, 10% would be absolutely fantastic if you make that in a year in the stock market. Well, the US dollar is being devalued at either that rate or at a greater rate. So you're literally losing money, making money in the stock market. The world needs a store of value. And sure, commodities can be that, Bitcoin can be that, commodities, gold can be that, but I really think the certain institutions are starting to wake up to the fact that Bitcoin could be that thing. So whether Bitcoin enters a consolidation phase or corrects, I do think the long term, whether it's the end of 2021 or later down the road, looks bright for cryptocurrency, because at the end of the day, demand is ever increasing, supply is ever dwindling with Bitcoin, and now with Ethereum 2.0 being rolled out, a bunch of liquidity with Ethereum is being locked up for extended periods of time. So supply, there is diminishing supply with the two most popular cryptocurrencies, and while demand is ever increasing, while the global reserve currency is being devalued and the world needs a store of value. That is a recipe for long-term success for the cryptocurrency markets, in my opinion. Could I be wrong? Sure. Do I think I'm wrong? I'm not. But ultimately, we need to understand price action dictates everything. We need to really understand what way we break out of here and what way we close to better understand direction. So those are my hunches. Those are my opinions. Those are my thoughts, guys. Ultimately, we need to see how Bitcoin breaks out to understand what Bitcoin's going to do. Bitcoin doesn't have an effect on the market. I still think Ethereum has more gas in its tank here. The final thing that I'll say about Ethereum is we're forming a very macro, either ascending triangle or upward trending channel here. Either way, Ethereum has, let's say, roughly a month max of sideways movement within this thing before we see a big move. And just to kind of say what I think is the most important support level for Ethereum, I'd say it's kind of the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. We can clearly see how it's hugging the lower extremities of this ascending triangle or this uptrending channel here. If we start to break below that, very bad news bears, very no bueno. Guys, make sure you stay tuned to this channel. We'll be breaking down critical technical analysis all throughout this bull run, because until proven otherwise, I do believe we're still in a bull run. Make sure you check out our Discord. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that bell icon to notify new uploads. That's it for now, everyone. Take care.